All right. We're back. Everything's good. Nice. God, why did I eat something spicy before the stream? All right. God, what a fool. I'm a foolish fool. All right, we continue our creation of the Ashfall campaign. There's been some slight changes, but it's not really much off screen. Oh, I think I might have written a couple things down. Added a couple tags to the two factions that we're worried about. A healing temple and kind of like laborers guild. I definitely need them to be of use to be able to reconstruct a lot of like the city and all that. So I would say Asheville has lost all farming capabilities. They probably have people that know how to farm, but they're in new lands. They don't know the terrain. They don't know what will grow there. So that would be an interesting plot point where Asheville, the new city. Oh wait, I should actually do a little small intro for this campaign before I get into it. Alright, this is the creation that I am working on. This is the Ashfall campaign. A a level 3 and onward campaign that I am working on with some players. Or for my players as their DM. And I'm very into homebrew, so a lot of this is new. It's gonna have to be statted and created. So, for this campaign, the big twist is that we are doing an isekai, a journey to another world. Instead of it being one or a group of people, it is a city isekai. I'm having a portion of a city be sent through the astral plane, transposed on top of another city. And the campaign will take place sometime after that, after they've battled back and forth, after there is a unsteady peace treaty or ceasefire. So, still thinking up the lore. A lot of things are coming to mind, and might have some juicy things to show you guys. My players, all of this came from a one shot, which I've already spoken about in the previous stream. Keeping it short. My players loved it, and I wanted to make a full campaign out of it. And what better way to get me to be motivated, to actually get work done, than to just stream it? Why not? Just stream it, even if there's no one watching. It's a good motivator. And if anybody does watch, input, ideas are all appreciated. Who knows? Maybe we'll all learn along the way. Anyway, what I was saying, Asheville is the city that got sent on top of Mondath. And they've lost all agricultural capabilities. So if there's any kind of peace treaty, any kind of trading of technology, it will be between them. Asheville, of course, needs to get their basic living requirements. Living necessities. They already have the shelter. The city that got transferred over is... a lot of it's in ruin. A lot of it is not. Most of the deaths probably occurred from the people who were... the Mondathians who got caught under this city transposition. So Asheville will have to contend with trying to restart agriculture. Maybe their seeds won't work. Maybe we can have a little plot point where the players interact with Mondathian, I don't know, their druids or whatever they do to see how they produce food. And I think I already discussed it, but I'll discuss it again. Mondath is a order of druids. It just makes sense that, I mean, they have access to good berries, so they have all these things. They don't have to have large agriculture the same way Asheville would. So whether it's, I don't know, in City Wall, Botanical Garden, or whatever the word is, where they do farming indoors, they've got Druid magic. They might be able to mass produce grain in some secret technique, secret magic way. So that will be very valuable to Ashwell. That'll be very fun to play around with. During the one shot, it just popped into my brain this fact that, oh wait, they don't have farms. They're gonna run out of food after, enough time. So if they're not farming, they gotta go back to hunting and gathering. So I had like I don't know, the warriors came back from a hunt. They've successfully hunted the local bristle boars. I don't know. It was all improv. There's a big queue of meat, and all the districts are having meat traded. Any excess meat is traded to Mondath for grains. So they're the biggest point for this campaign. Not biggest. An important point to this campaign is that there is a central district where trade, where commerce is happening between both cities. And that's where I wanted to plot the players down, right in the middle of all the conflict. I want them to be deep in the tension. Alright, so... yeah. Continuing. Oh yeah, I was just trying to list off things that are probably important. Lumber in a city that can control trees, grow trees. Obviously, that's going to be huge. I had it set that they had a mine somewhere, so I'm going to have to create that. How does that work? How does a druid city mine? Would they even mine? Isn't that against druid customs and all that to handle metal? Maybe it is, but not in my lore. F all of that. That's old lore. I like homebrew. Alright, so something that I am not saying, because I might just send this part to the players just to give them a refresher, since it'll probably be a couple weeks by the time I'm ready, if not a month or two. So after the Great War, after the Barbarian King, along with his Storm Barbarian Royal Guards, cut into Mondathian territory, eventually they were stalled. The Druids have, Wall of Thorns, and I'll show you something interesting about Wall of Thorns later. But they were able to protect, not really fight head on, but at least put up enough of a barrier to slow down the advance. In this plane that I don't have a name for yet, I want to fill it with many systems that I can play with. I've read the monster manuals. I've done all of that, but I'm just very itchy for creativity, man. It's bad. I'm the kind of DM that really wants to create. I see a system and I want to add to it. I want to tack on everything to everything, or more to everything. So I am trying to come up with multiple systems. And I allude at the very last line. After the first night, the Ashwillians would come to know of the new horrors of this unknown land. And the horrors that I am referencing here are not the savage tribes, but undeath. I don't know if I spoke about it last time, but this idea, it came to me and I loved it so much. It feels like it changes the way that people would interact with the world. Undeath and beings beyond the pale manifest and plague all as the enemy of life. And then I listed a creature that I probably placehold. I'll leave it as, I'll put a TH. The Collector. And then I wrote like a little account. I wrote a short account to kind of help me visualize it as if I were in the world. Strange whispers cling to the bitter winds. We are withholding from further advances upon the enemy. I've listened to the accounts of our scouts. There is fear in their eyes as they recount the strange phenomena they have experienced. Wounded that were previously being hauled back to the camps have been lost when left unattended. Warforged men would break down into children, sobbing and begging not to be left out of sight. The rare occasion that a previously wounded soldier is rediscovered results in a retrieval mission. Excerpt of Commander Luth and company experiencing a collector haunting. Love it. I love all of that. It was great. I'm happy. I'm so happy. A collector, undeath, a result of a massacre, all these dark emotions and blood and evil acts. I want them in a world of magic, in a fantastical setting. I want that to mean something, and I want there to be a reaction to such an event. So in this little short snippet, I have it written that you can presume that there is some kind of battle. Commander Luth's company is attacking another enemy force, and I want this to be something that the world knows, because obviously when there are two humans, when there are two beings, there will always be conflict, as long as there's two people. So they know war, they've killed. Wars of territory and conquer have happened. So they know that when this happens, when death is in the air, it can bring beings from beyond the veil. Undead. Whether it's zombies or wraiths or ghosts, all these beings of dark emotions, I want them to be able to manifest in this world. And I want it to be, especially if you're a studied commander, an educated commander, it's very important to know all of this, because if you're fighting, if, let's say it's a siege battle, this is something that would have ramifications for the defender. They have to know that the more losses there are, the more attrition will be held within the walls from all these entities that start to spring up. It could be a simple ghost haunting. So immediately clerics, paladins, their station increases. They might have methods of casting bless or something. I don't think it's bless. I forget the word. The clerics have some kind of spell to purify or something. Or we could just homebrew it into their cantrip. I forget which one it is. Either way, their station increases. They're more popular. Or not even popular, but more inexpendable, because they cover this side of war, this side of great battles. And I have it written further down. Collectors are rare manifestations from lingering resentments in places soaked in death. These resentments coalesce into an undead spirit. A collector searches for the dead in dying to harvest parts. It longs to create mockeries of the living. Collectors can create zombies, ghouls, and flesh golems. We will give them the ability to raise undead. Oh, man. Oh, I'm excited. This is great. I want them to be this ominous presence, this being cloaked in darkness. Maybe give it the ability to cast darkness. I don't know yet. But I want them to be very elusive and stealthy. It haunts from a distance. It's sneaky. It stalks you. Not quite unlike a shadow. And it seeks negative emotions, such as the wounded, and takes them, for they are the freshest body parts that they have. Anyway, that's one cool system. I like that. This is how I want to do Undead, as well as all the other traditional ways, necromancy and all that. And then something that's kind of knocking around in my mind is this porcelain flesh constructs. Porcelain something something. I really don't have much written out. It is unknown when these constructs came to be. And then I had them like tiered out in ways that they kind of form as a small ecosystem. These bleach white stone monsters. Black, for the lack of a better term. There's something. They're I would say they're constructs, but I want to give them a gooey middle. I was definitely inspired by Elden Ring. I love the living jars. Such an interesting take. I don't want to just steal though. I want to be inspired. So we'll see how it goes. The most interesting thing to me about one of the most important things that interests me is the storytelling aspect that you can get from this. Because as you see here, I have porcelain warforged units. So I looked at this race. I've always thought it was a weird one, but this would be a fun way for me to incorporate it into the world's lore that I don't know yet. I literally don't know. It could be that there was either a powerful being that was shattered, and its shards rained onto the plane, and as time went on, the natives and the locals started seeing these strange, not aberrations, but strange constructs. These little porcelain dung beetles that would go around gathering, preying on small creatures, bringing the flesh back. Also, before I get called out, I've always loved dung beetles. That is not an inspiration from Elden Ring. That's a me thing. I love dung beetles. But yeah, I was thinking like, yeah, they're self-propagating beetles. They'll make nests. I don't know how. It's a cool dungeon idea. Think of the players coming across some kind of eerily symmetrical white porcelain entrance. Structure, stone jutting out from the hillside, or within a thick jungle, far away from civilization. You just see this artifact sticking out. And upon investigating, that's when they start to see the tunnels, the pathways they can explore, the things that they've collected. They'll find the remains of creatures they've hunted. They might find treasures and other shiny things that they collected as well. Yeah. But I'm thinking of having it to be... I'm conceptualizing it as these little beetles that have porcelain-esque shells. But I'm also thinking of it like a hard tile. Hard, like, bulletproof tile that gives them disgusting AC. Slow movement. And then when Porcelain Warrior is a little more larger. Not necessarily that it's a warrior-looking creature, but that it's like an attack unit. If the porcelain beetle was like a little worker ant, then the porcelain warrior would be a soldier ant. So I should probably rename that something else. Battle unit, I don't know. That's kind of mecha. Whatevers. And so after the battle units and the beetles have created a large nest, they've claimed a lot of diverse life. Some kind of purification process can happen. Who knows? I don't know. But that could lead to the creation of a porcelain warforged unit. This is where we can play with the storytelling. Is this like a hook? Is this something that they desperately are trying to stop? Are they hostile at this point? Because before it's just, survival of the fittest. Excuse me. Yeah, the porcelain warforged unit. What is its goal? Does it know what caused its creation? What if towns were harvested for its core? What is its core? I don't know yet. And then I thought it was a porcelain dragon. Because they're worm. Because I like dragons. I like big monsters. I don't know yet. But yeah, you can. I don't know. What if you imagine a porcelain warforged unit is a mass produced soldier unit that's a step above a battle unit, more of a commander role or a higher CR for this society, and maybe one of them gains sentience. Maybe it stumbles into a town, it's confused, doesn't speak the language. I don't know. Yeah, this is very, very rough idea, but I still wanted to show it off. Undeath, I am hyped. I am excited for. I like it. And I'll put it underneath Undead, another faction that I want to add to this world. That is... Oh shoot, I don't know how to spell it. Yeah, there we go. Mycelium. I want mushroom men. I love mushrooms, not the drugs. I like the idea of a mushroom forest. That's always tickled me. So I'm putting him underneath Undead because I like them to be close to each other. I like the idea of these fungal creatures that can kill and zombify and bring back like a fungal zombie. So kind of empty right now. A little bit empty. Let's just fill it in with some stuff. This is the big well, one of the big early plot points in the story will revolve around fungus. Fungi men. God, cats. Fungi men. Fungal zombies. Just another method to reanimate dead tissue. I haven't thought about it yet. I don't know if I want Feywild connections. I have Undead connection, or well, I don't know what is it called. Maybe I'll add some Shadowfell. Is that what it's called? Yeah, I'll probably add some Shadowfell connections with Undeath. Maybe a pocket of the Feywild can be with the Mycelium. Oh, I'm so excited with the Savage Tribes. That will be good. That's gonna be a hell of a lot of fun. Oh yeah, let's show you guys something that I've come up with. Yeah. Yeah. I have been creating because you know me. I love creating. This right here is in the works. I don't know anything about city making, map making. I have looked at other examples, and god damn it, this is hard, and I'm embarrassed by how bad I am. You can see I started with like cities, and I was just trying to, or not cities, with buildings. I was trying to put shapes down. It's quite messy, but I have an idea. My idea is that I will have two city designs. One's very naturey, druidy, and the other one will be normal, medieval, the huge. And it's all separated by this thorn wall, this bramble thorn wall that's created during the War of Ashfall. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, but good lord, I've had to study a lot of map making. And you can see my not laziness, but like it's probably not a good idea to burn out with the details. Just make small shapes. Just take it easy. Recently, oh here, let me take off some of the crazy lines. I've been focusing on the Druid City. I wanted to have like the shape of leaf patterns in the city construction. Probably inefficient. Probably very nightmarish for city trade and all that, but they're druids. They have magic. They can cast stride on themselves. They'll be fine. I have this large, almost temple over here. And the city wall is made of, like, I don't know, like a big bush of brambly nests and thorns. And these big trees that I have here, like, they're guard posts. I have a bush over here. Maybe all of that's hollowed out, and that's where they can have soldiers. Don't have much on the Mondath rendered at all, but yeah, the city's very traditional. I want it to be straight, little to no curves in their streets, and then I'm gonna pack it full of not suburban, city buildings and all that. I have to take the time out to include bigger structures like churches and castles, small fort structures. But, yeah, they have some of the wall in Mondath, but I want it to be shattered over here, and these lines are going to be like their attempts at trying to grow food in this land and learn what's hospitable, what isn't. And this will be a center square where I want all the trading. I want both factions to have residents living here. This is where I want the players. I want them to be in the main square. I specifically gave them a building here. I would say that if I'm doing this again, I wouldn't have to, this is for one shot. I wanted them to start right away. They have a home base. They have this little little shop that's frequently stolen from. People constantly shoplift. It's kind of a joke thing. I had a bunch of Kenki that would come in quickly, look around. If they rolled well enough, you would catch them staring at you before looking away. And they would disappear. You would find they would have a report later that day that inventory is missing. The numbers aren't adding up. So yeah, that's fun. But yeah, city building, it's a tough one. I did not know what I signed up for. But yeah, I know my players were visual, so I wanted to create this for them. So I'll work on this. Just throw random shapes. Whatever. I have to make more landmarks. I can't just have it all be gibberish. Like, I like this temple. I want more of that. There is a silver and mithril mining company here. I need to add that. But yeah, you get the idea. It's fun. Very fun. Alright, we have Mondath, Ashwell. Ashwell is not really getting much love right now, unfortunately. Oh! Let's scroll down to session. Ideas. No. I don't even know what to title it. Session notes. Okay. 1 year after the war. Strange. Not strange. A pandemic occurred. I forgot what I called it. It was like trolls, blights, and dragons' breath or something. I forget. Let's push that down. People in Asheville showing odd symptoms and become deadly ill. Let's put the pandemic later. 1 year after the war, tragedy would strike again. People in Nashville started showing odd symptoms and becoming deadly ill. Green skin. Green skin. What else? What else is trolly? Green skin and boils is pretty common. They're pretty. It comes to mind. It immediately just comes to mind. As were as well as respiratory problems. Notice faint whisk, a faint smoke emit from the sleeping patients. Let's go back. Healers would even notice a faint smoke emitting from sleeping patients. After discussing, how do I write this? From Mondath, they would come to know of Troll's Blight and Dragon's Breath. Dragon's Breath being like an intense heat in either the lungs or the throat, followed by respiratory problems, followed by death from asphyxiation, I suppose. Yeah, sounds good. I like that. Meanwhile, I don't know what the hell Troll's Blight does to you. Get a fever and die. You look nasty. You have pusses and you're infectious. So the hook is there's a pandemic. One of your previous contacts has come forward, is asking for assistance in the matter. So why, let's say it's a commander or the captain of the guard. Oh, I don't know what the hook would be. If you're a veteran of the war and you had some prestige, you're level 3. That's status, I would say. If I don't know, level 1 is like an Olympian human, level 3 is something else. If you're level 3 mage, you have spells, you're not really quite normal. But I want it to be an easier hook than someone else coming to ask. I want the players to have an incentive, a need to figure out the origin. So I want to weaken leave the matter to the players. It's very important. Weaken the investigative power of the Royal Guard. Not the Royal, the City Guard. Having too many fires to put out. So aside from that, they have food issues. A lot of the guardsmen and able-bodied men have to go on a great hunt every couple days to just get enough meat, enough of this boar meat to trade and to feed their populace. So this, on top of that issue, should make them unable to address it. I want the players to solve this. So, 2 points. The slums are a breeding ground for disease. And more importantly, a vengeful druid is, what is it, enacting enacting his revenge on Ashwill by spreading this plague on their populace. God, I don't know how to spell that. Populous. Awesome. So, okay, that's the heck. It's gonna be a spore druid. Is that even... That is a thing, isn't it? Spore... Bring up 5e tools. I love this thing. Yeah, Spore Druid. Heck yeah. Druid of the Circle of Spores finds beauty in decay. They see within mold and other fungi the ability to transform lifeless material into abundant, albeit somewhat strange life. These druids believe that life and death are part of a grand cycle, with one leading to the other and then back again. Death isn't the end of life, but instead a change of state that sees life shifts into a new form. So yeah, druids of the circle have a complex relationship with death. Undead. There you go. Unlike most druids, they see nothing inherently wrong with undead, which they consider to be companion to life and death. Alright, okay. Undead that seek to replace all life with undead. Well, no. But these druids believe that the natural cycle is healthiest when each segment of it is vibrant and changing. Undead that seek to replace all life with undeath, or that try to avoid passing to a final rest, violate the cycle and must be thwarted. So, let's see. At level 5, they have Animate Dead. I definitely want that. Ooh, and Gaseous Form. I'm just imagining they corner this druid in its underground lair, which I'll... Ooh, let's write that. The Undercity Ruins. Because after the Ashfall, the Ashfall happened, I want there to be a lot of ruins underneath for seedy people to make home, thieves, and the the darkness of the city, criminals. But this could also be layers. You could have an interesting thing where a pub has a basement, a cellar, a wine cellar, and that connects to an old sewer that connects to Mondath buildings, and that leads to crawling around and a fun dungeon for the players to discover. Multiple ruins like these. So yeah, the first villain will probably be... Oh, shoot, is that too hard? A level 5 Spore Druid for a bunch of level 3s. Uh, do they change shape or not? A halo of spores? What the fuck is that? Alright, enough reading about them. Back to the story. So I want there to be vengeance in here. I want there to be people who, no matter how good they are, how kind they are, when you kill their families, how could they not want vengeance or justice? So I don't know how I'll leave it up, but I want it to be a sympathetic villain. Completely evil at this point, clearly. Yeah. I want them to know a little bit of the backstory before they choose to, whatever, murder hobo him or I don't know, jail him. I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know if I want to give him a final hoorah where he fungifies himself, takes his life, causes a fungi men, a mycelium to grow from within. But that's going to be the first part of the story. I'll have this pandemic ravaging Asheville while the party is off kind of exploring, getting their bearings. I want there to be a... Ooh, let's scroll up. Where would it be? Notes? Yeah, let's see notes. Or ideas. A quest board. Yeah. Do that. Just elbowed my table with my microphones connected to. Okay. I'll probably include a quest board, and it'll have monster hunts or requests that the players can take. It'll have a person assigned to them or an organization and a reward, gold, info, equipment. I'll probably I'll hide secrets in there with this first hook. Yeah. I need to find a way to get to the players to the slums, though. That'll be part of that. We might even get into that during the first session. So there might be people in Mondath that can be persuaded for more information. is a powerful spore druid. Feels like they should be well known in their society. Maybe he was the assistant of one of the arch druids or something. So we can have them think that this the first villain guy, Spore Man. Nah. Spore Druid, sure. Yeah, that is what he is. The Spore Druid can be believed to have been killed during Ashfall. So, all this is happening. You might go to Mondath for more information. And that's where you would learn the most about what they colloquially know these diseases to be called and their symptoms. Might have some trade and agreements that have their healing temple go over. Give succor to the wounded. God, so fun. Porcelain flesh construct. But yeah. Maybe if fungus zombies start to be reported, they might start to put two and two together. That is not normal. This person was very knowledgeable in it, but they're gone now. That's where they might give a hint. Yeah. Where is it? Over here. The hook. Of Ashwell. Dang, I still don't have a good reason why the players would be like, man, that sucks. I'll just keep casting cure disease on ourselves. Fuck the rest of the people. Yeah, I don't have a good idea to get them out there. Mm, maybe I don't need to have that to be railroaded. Maybe I can have that happening in the background, and if they get curious, I'll feed them hints. In the one shot, I had a captain or a higher ranking soldier personally ask them to look into it, which was very railroady. I didn't really have anything else planned, so I really wanted them on that road. But in this case, I want them to be free to do whatever. No straight hooks yet. Relations between the two cities is definitely important to them. Maybe finding a way to connect back home would be important to them. Oh yeah, thinking. Probably just under notes, actually. Or notes solo. Notes. Ideas. Planar travel and teleportation are limited. Are, no, extremely limited in these lands. Special rituals and places of power are required for any formation, any creation of teleportation circles or travel. I don't know. This might be just me. It might be me fearing special magical derailments. Like, what if the players are like, I want to go to the plane of fire. I want to go back home. Nice. Cool setting. I want to go back home, and I'm not ready. I don't know yet. I want them to be able to do it. That's why I'm not ruling it out. But I want it to be limited. I want them to have a feeling of being lost. Actually lost. I want it to be a grand struggle to get home. Takes them maybe a year or two. They've had to suffer this hostile new world, and they get home and they find that the old city has been, all the population has been enslaved by neighboring powers because they lost their warrior king, their barbarian king, and their city guard. So all law fell into disorder. That makes sense. I'm doing that. Okay. Uh, yeah, I'll keep it short for today while I think of more stuff. I really want to play with porcelain. Whatever I decide to call these things. The Warforge creator thing. I don't know what the lore, what would be a great lore of a god that's like petrified into white porcelain before being shattered, spread across the realms so that it may never reform. Oh, that sounds so cruel. Okay. Thank you for hanging. Keep it short. Stay safe.